if you've been listening to Windsor Morning for more than a couple of years, the voice of our next guest will be very familiar. Tony Doucette hosted the morning show here on CBC Radio in Windsor for about 16 years until his retirement in 2022. We've had him back every December for our holiday show, and it's not just an exercise of nostalgia. Although very much so. Tony has an annual tradition that ties him directly to Make the Seasons Kind campaign. He's here to tell us more about it. Welcome back, Tony.
How in the name of all that is holy do you people get up at this hour of the day and do
You're
this?
so retired now. Are you normally sleeping right now?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm still awake most. No. As you can see, I'll give you the profile view. No. I'm usually up at about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning every day.
How's grandparent life?
Oh, it's absolutely tremendous. Yeah.
How old are they now?
Let's see. Jack will be 3 in January, and Jude, who we now call Joodles, will be. He's a little over 2 months old. 10 weeks on Sunday.
Oh, he's so cute and stationary.
So I envy him a lot because he gets to wear onesies all day. So.
Oh, is that what you want for Christmas, a onesie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, careful who you're talking to because you know what will happen. And another question I have to ask you before we get into your book. In your 16 years of turning up here every morning, did you ever turn up and not have your voice?
Yes.
And what did you do?
I jumped in the car and went back home. No, that's not entirely true. No, there were days, and it's funny, and well, it wasn't funny at the time. There are days when, and you would know this, you sit in that chair, you feel like $1 million, and you sound like 5 pounds of dog poo in a 2-pound bag, and then there's the opposite. You sound like $1 million and you don't feel so great.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course.
And when those two worlds collide and you feel like poop and you sound like poop, you still have to talk.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
And last Wednesday you were saying when you came in, you heard me. Or Tuesday, I don't even know now. I want to forget it. I came in. I hadn't talked to anybody in the morning. You know what it's like. You get up, you get ready, you come in. I knew I didn't feel well, but whatever. And I speak to Tom and he's like, and then we looked at each other. And I said, oh, no, this is not good.
Yeah.
And what do you do? And I said, what would Tony Doucette do?
I would have done, if I had I been you, I would have said, good morning, this is Oscar the Grouch filling in for Amy Dodge.
We did have someone text in and say, whoever's filling in for Amy Dodge is not doing a very good job.
I felt badly for
so
you.
We fired them.
Yeah.
So bad you got in the car and came and helped me?
You know, I could have, probably should have done that. But no.
This is the Tony Doucette roasting. So we hear a lot about the shepherds at Christmas time, and your event is called The Shepherd, but it's not that kind that takes care of sheep. So for people who haven't heard of this before, what are we talking about?
It's a story that was written by Frederick Forsyth, the very accomplished British novelist who wrote The Odessa File and The Day of the Jackal. And as a young man, in his very early 20s, he was a fighter pilot in the RAF. In fact, the youngest fighter pilot in the RAF. And as a novelist, in 1974, coincidentally, a story that he wrote on Christmas Day in 1974. So as Christmas stories go, it's relatively contemporary. You know, many of our Christmas stories, I mean, we have Dickens and so on. But this one is relatively or comparatively contemporary. It's the story of a young RAF pilot. It's not autobiographical in that sense, but he draws on his experience. He's leaving an airfield in Germany on Christmas Eve in 1957, and he's going to fly home to England and meet his family for Christmas. And over the North Sea, everything in his fighter goes down. He can't navigate, his radio is dead, and he's running short of fuel. So in those days, prior to that actually, during World War II primarily, they would send up airplanes. And they were usually meteorological airplanes. They would take weather readings and whatnot. But if they saw, for example, a bomber that was all shot to pieces, that plane would become what they call a shepherd, and he would fly wingtip to wingtip with that airplane and guide that airplane back to safety. Now, that's as far as I'm going to go with the story because what happens from there is really quite something. But it's a short story, and I first heard it, I don't know how many years ago, Alan Maitland's reading of it, Fireside Al, is presented on As It Happens every Christmas Eve on CBC Radio. And I first heard it decades ago.
That's the connection to CBC Radio.
That's exactly it. Now, I don't pretend to give it the same treatment that Fireside Al did. So what you're going to get is the Tony Doucette interpretation of it.
How many years have you done this?
I was afraid you'd ask me that because I don't know.
Enough
I'm
that you
thinking
can't remember.
10 or a dozen.
Do you still need to read the book, or do you know it now?
Oh, gosh, no. No, I mean, I have the text before me. So, but, in keeping with Make the Season Kind,
Right.
There is no admission charge, except that we ask people to bring food to fill up a particular airplane that we have there. And if I might be so bold as to ask people maybe rather than bringing food, maybe bring cash.
Okay.
And that's important because all of the food banks in the area have much greater buying power than you and I have because they buy in such volume that $20 for them goes much farther than $20 for you and me. I mean, we gratefully accept donations of food, of course. But if you have cash on hand, not everybody carries it anymore.
I know. I always
if you
feel
have
bad
it-
when there's the kettles, but now you can tap at the kettles.
Right.
We should be able to tap.
Yeah.
Get on that.
Yeah, there's a man with a guitar that just came through the door.
I know, but this is too fun. How long does it take to read the book?
About half an hour.
Okay.
And I should say, for those who are familiar with the story, it's actually an abridged version. It would probably take a solid hour to read the entire short story, perhaps even more than that.
Have you ever thought of doing interpretive dance to it or some type of performing arts?
I've thought of doing interpretive dance to many things many times, but not to that in particular. No, not at all. So we're doing it a week from Friday,
Yeah.
the 13th at 7 o'clock at the Canadian Aviation Museum at Windsor Airport. And for those who've never been there, the setting is perfect because it just reeks of World War II.
Well, it has to
era
be
aviation.
a really great event because you've done it for so many years. If it was a flop, you'd be flopping it for this many years, which could not be the case.
We tend to draw more people every year, and we have musical entertainment as well. I think this is kind of an interesting story. The BIA in Walkerville did this thing, I believe it was in September, where they closed the street. I'm thinking from maybe Argyle to Gladstone.
Right.
And had several musicians playing. And there, under a canopy at Chilver and Wyandotte, was a young woman who looked vaguely familiar to me. And she was there with her banging on her acoustic guitar and playing cover tunes. And I thought, wow, she's really good. So it so happens that I know her father and reached out to her through him. And her name is Keats Conlon. And she's going to be performing before and after.
Oh,
Just
how
a few
wonderful.
seasonal songs. So yeah, it's great. Really looking forward
We have to make
it.
it out this year. I'm looking at my team over there. Tony?
Well, yeah, that's a sore point that the team has never attended, by the way. Let me put that on the record.
Oh. Look at him trying to get to the mics.
Hands to ceiling on the other side of the glass.
On the other side of the glass, we have our producer and we have Michael Evans,
Yeah.
or Hargrave,
Yeah,
over there.
yeah.
Tony, this is a pleasure. You're going to stick around for a little bit.
Sure.
You do this traditional reading, The Shepherd. It's going to happen next Friday, December 13th. It happens at the Canadian Aviation Museum in Windsor Airport at 7 p.m. Admission, a non-perishable food item, or a cash donation to CBC's Make the Season Kind food campaign. Do you want to introduce Billy?
Why not? Why not? I've loved this guy's stuff for
Yeah.
several years. And genetics, right? every year, Billy, my family and I attend the Saints show at the Coliseum, where your father does such tremendous work. And I know that you've become a part of that. And I saw you there last year. Yeah. And I'm not going to spoil or surprise, but I'm told you have something special lined up for the show this year because I have friends in that organization who said, if you tell anybody, we'll kill you. However, Billy's going to be doing something really special during that show. I'm really looking forward to that. So for those who don't know, Billy Raffoul from Leamington is here. And
thank you so much.
I guess we turn it over to you at this point, do we? What are we going to hear?
This is the first single off of my new album. It's called Homebody. Let's talk more about interpretive dance later, though, because I feel like that can work its way back into this.
I'm surely looking forward to it.
All right.
it's open late, we'll get a table for sure. Go there straight from your work day, they got your name at the door. Sometimes it's like I got plans and you got friends. They got plans and the plans got plans. And that's just fine most of the time. But for tonight I want you in my hands. So why don't we stay put? I'll make one of your favorites, half as good as you'd make it, but you'll be off your feet. And we can just lie down, music on in the background, as I make my way around my favorite place to be, your home body. Home body. May I suggest you try the red, 'cause it's the only thing we have. And even when you're underdressed, you make this place look awfully bad. So why don't we stay put? I'll make one of your favorites, half as good as you'd make it, but you'll be off your feet. And we can just lie down, music on in the background, as I make my way around my favorite place to be, your home body. Home body. Your home body.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.
I know.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
You were just serenaded. See, we serenade our guests if you come into the studio.
You know, there's something happened there that I quite frankly hadn't noticed before. Because since I retired just over 2 years ago, I've been taking guitar lessons.
Oh, I've heard of this.
So, you've heard of this?
I have, actually.
Oh, what have you heard? No, we better
Great
leave that
things.
alone. But what I really hadn't noticed before, Billy, is that you actually play that right-handed guitar upside down.
I do.
And is there a story behind that? Because I mean, you can string a guitar so you can play it left-handed, but you've chosen to play a right-handed guitar,
This-
so the bass string is actually at the bottom.
Oh, you'll like this, and I'll give you the too long don't read. But my dad, a righty, you know, and me, a lefty, growing up, I flipped the strings on one of his, devalued it. And then that was the only time I ever did that. And then ever since then, it's been, here we go.
It's remarkable. You play beautifully.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's a lovely tune.
Thank you. Thank
Really
you.
like it a lot. Like, what's going on in your life musically these days? You say you have a new album coming out?
New album coming out, new single with the Saints that just came out last week. But I won't talk any more about that. And then yeah, man, just touring and playing music.
Have you crossed the country?
Yes, I have. Yes.
And how have you been received? I'm really curious about that because we know you locally.
Yeah, I mean, it's been it's been crazy just to go to new places and it's, you know, if two people show up and sing the songs, that means the world to me. But it's been really good. Yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah, I've heard that from a number of artists who doesn't matter if it's 2 people or 200 people, right? It's all the same. Is Tom coming in to read a newscast?
He
Do
is,
I have
but
to
you're
leave this
doing a
chair?
great job. No, I want you to stay for as long as you're willing to stay. I'm wondering, when you pick up a guitar, Tony, what do you play?
Actually, I'm playing a little bit of, and there's a tune that Mark Knopfler and Chet Atkins did together called The Next Time I'm in Town that I'm working on.
Okay.
And a big one now that I've just about got down, and you'll understand being a parent as to why this one is important, Baby Beluga by Raffi.
Oh, that's a good one. I thought you were going to say Baby Shark, and I like that you took a pivot there.
No, Baby Shark is strictly verboten. But Baby Beluga is coming along.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And a couple of other tunes. Four Strong Winds, the Neil Young version
That's
that
a great
I
one.
really love, and Billy would know. It's a terrific strummer, right?
Yeah.
So I started out learning how to play finger guitar, which was really great, and that was going really well. And then I figured, well, the finger guitar is kind of fun, but what if I just want to pick up the guitar when there are friends in the room or something like that? And, well, the reason it was finger guitar initially was because my guitar teacher said, what do we want to do with this? And I thought, well, I can't carry a tune in a bucket, so the playing has to be good because the vocals are not going to make up for substandard guitar playing.
Right.
So it's going to have to be guitar playing masking the poor singing. So it's been a kind of a combination of the two. Yeah. Which is why I won't sing for you this morning.
But did you take up the harmonica too?
I did.
Just a
I did.
Okay, so does that fill in for your singing?
In some cases, and great teacher, Kelly Hoppy, who
the best.
Yeah, absolutely the best.
The same school I've gone to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because you play harmonica.
Through Kelly Hoppy.
Oh.
Yeah, and what is interesting is it was at dinner about a week ago that Kelly
All right, that's it.
told
We'll be
me
back
about
after this.
what I